Do you live and breathe the beautiful game? Dream about the biggest soccer moments?
Or maybe you just want to hear some unfiltered takes from real fans like you.
Welcome to Futbol Unfiltered, where the passion for soccer knows no boundaries.
Meet your panel, Carl Phillip, JD, Yanel, and Coach. From the world's biggest matches to those unforgettable moments that made us fall in love with and the rising stars shaping soccer's future, you'll find it all here. Join us every week for Futbol Unfiltered, the bilingual soccer podcast that speaks your language, your passion, and your love for the game. Futbol Unfiltered, where soccer's heart beats louder.
All right, welcome. Welcome to another edition of Futbol Unfiltered. Tonight we have Alex. How you doing, Alex?
I'm good, and you?
Good. And also we have Ale. What's going on, Ale?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Doing well, man. And I'm your host, Carl Philippe, tonight. So, hey, before we get started, I think we have a packed night tonight with all the topics. We have the Clásico Sudamericano. We want to talk about what's going on with Brazil. We want to give some love also for Melchie Dumornay from Haiti. But we have a packed night. But before we go any further, I want to give some shout out to my Blue Devils, Duke, you know, for going to the Final Four. I just want to make sure I say that. So now we can get going. So So this week, we have the Conmebol World Cup qualifier, and we had a game between Argentina and Brazil. So I'm gonna put the score of the game for some people here. So, did you guys watch the game at all?
Yes, I did.
All right, so we're gonna start with you, Alex.
It was rough. I mean, it wasn't too bad since I like Argentina. They're not, I prefer Brazil, but it was okay to watch. But it was it was tough to watch. Like the players that we saw from the previous game, like Rafinha and Vini, they weren't performing as well against Argentina. And I feel that was they needed to act like how they played the previous game like they did against Argentina. Cuz it's a whole new team. It's different. And especially Julian Alvarez. I think his goal, it should not have gone through like that. It was just clumsy. And then it came to him again and then he just had an easy goal. It wasn't good. But we let it in and it's fine because we can learn from that game and apply it to future games.
Good. So I'm gonna go to you, Alan. Did you watch the game?
I did not watch the full game. I saw the highlights. I was watching the game like I was looking for the game and I saw 1-0 in the first 4 minutes, and I knew it was not going to be a good night for Brazil. But I was able to watch some of the highlights and kind of listen and hear your comments. So from what I saw, I think it was a really bad night for Brazil. I think right now Brazil is in a bad spot. Um, from what I saw, um, I didn't see any drive. I feel like that's not the team that we're accustomed to seeing. I think Argentina was superior, was the better team. I think they are imposing themselves, and it was very disappointing, and I will say even alarming to see a Brazilian team play like that. The goals were like, it's like that's not what we're used to. I mean, yeah, Argentina scored some really nice goals, but how are they allowed to be scored that way? I don't know. So I think there's a lot of things that needs to be changed between now and next year if Brazil wants to be able to even make it to the World Cup at this point.
So I believe Brazil's gonna make the World Cup. So they still, I believe, they're second place or third place. So they still have, and between second and fifth place is very tight. I mean, the difference in the difference in points on like 1 or 2 points. So any game they won, they can just go over. So uh, when I watched the game, uh, first off, I was surprised by the score, and we talked about it before the week, before the game. Even though Argentina and Brazil always a tough game. So when I'm looking at the game, when I watch the game and I see how Argentina was at ease, since the beginning of the game, uh, uh, they since the beginning of the game, it was kind of shocking to see how much ease they have when they were playing the game. Uh, Also, it's easy to blame Brazil. It's easy to say, "Hey, we don't know what's going on with Brazil," but also I think that we forget to give Argentina also the props, right? When you're looking at Argentina, they play without Messi, they're playing it without Lautaro, and for them to play, and also before the game, they were already qualified for the World Cup, so they were qualified before they actually played the game, and to see they play with that much hunger, and it's like they did not miss a beat. They wanted to make a statement. They play with a lot of confidence. So for me, I was kind of surprised by it because what you see is no matter how good or bad each team are, they always play. It's always a tight game when it comes to Argentina and Brazil. So I was kind of surprised with the score myself. So as a fan, I love it. It was beautiful to see, but at the same time, when it comes to Brazil, I think Brazil isn't Brazil. They still got a lot of games left, and like I said earlier, they're not in a bad position. And with the new format of the Conmebol now, I think 5 teams gonna get the automatic bid to the World Cup, and I think we're gonna be one of those teams gonna qualify. So for me, in my opinion, Brazil gonna qualify. They're gonna play the 2026. But to your point, they just lost their coach. I think they fired the coach after the game. To your point, they need to figure things out before they go to the World Cup. So to bring my next question. So since we're talking about Brazil, so what's going on with Brazil right now?
I think they're going through an identity crisis. Um, I think that's what it is. I think they probably lost what made them great since the beginning of times. And I think it's not too late to reclaim it, but I think there's some serious identity issues happening amongst the team. I think there's a lack of leadership, definitely. I think there's a lot of immaturity on that Brazilian squad. A lot of young players saying dumb stuff, have no real track records. I mean, they're pretty wealthy, obviously, but soccer it's about results, right? And I never liked the attitude of being cocky if you're not performing. So I think Brazil needs a sense of identity. They need true leadership, and they need a leader that can inspire them and remind them of what they're all about and what they stood for decades. So I think that's what's happening. In terms of talent, you have a lot of talented soccer players in Brazil. I don't think that's what's missing. You can see when you look at those European clubs, I mean, they're filled with great Brazilian talent, but collectively, I think the team doesn't have the chemistry that it needs to be successful next year.
So Alex, what you think is going on with Brazil right now? Do you think they miss Neymar a lot?
Yeah, they just need an experienced player to guide them through, because obviously they're not performing, because from going from sixth place in the World Cup qualifiers to second place is a big deal. It's not like they're just giving up. They just need a talent that is a little bit more experienced than the rest of the players to bring everyone back up. Because right now they, like Alan said, they have a bunch of young players, and it's like having a team of 10-year-olds playing up against like a seasoned team. You know, like 11, 12-year-olds playing up against 10-year-olds. It's going to be different cuz they don't have that mind, that mindset to play with the same level as everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ale hit it right. It going through some identity crisis, especially when you think about it. If I'm not mistaken, after the World Cup, I think that's Brazil either third or second coach after the last World Cup. So when you think about it, the World Cup what happened in 2022, 2025. So that's 3 years, right? So in 3 years, you got three different coaches. I believe it's two coaches. I can't remember on top of my head. But when you go through those changes, and then you got players are coming, so you have the coach. He hasn't be able to put his identity with the team. So I think this is what you see. So everybody try to figure things out as they go. So hopefully they can have a good coach uh, uh, to get things together and make sure that when they go to the World Cup they have a different team. Because when you think about it, Argentina went through the same thing after the World Cup in 2018 when Argentina lost in the 2018 World Cup and they went to the Copa America. Everybody said the same thing. Who are these guys, right? Who are those guys, right? So they went to the Copa America. Even Scaloni. Right now, everybody's talking about how great Scaloni is, but Diego Maradona, when Scaloni was selected as the coach, he was just like, well, "Here's this guy. What this guy is doing. He has no idea to coach. He has no clue, and he should not be coaching the Argentina team." So now everybody's talking about him being one of the greatest, not the greatest coach, one of the great coaches that we have right now in the game. But it takes time. So when you think about the Argentina team, they've been together since 2019, right? So they've been playing even when obviously they've been playing together for 2019, so they know each other. So they know how each other's move. They're very confident. And in the meantime, they also won a lot of big tournaments. So when you think about it, since 2021, every tournament they played, they won it. So you have the confidence, you got the chemistry. So what Brazil needs to get is, stop winning. Like they play a good game against Colombia and they went to Argentina and played a terrible game. And when you're looking at Colombia, they're one of the good team in South America. So, as fans, we want results, and Al talks about that. It's all about results. It doesn't matter how great you're doing in the club level. And I think it was unfortunate for Rafinha to say what he said before the game, in that fashion. But at the same time, he was talking to Romario, and Romario talked to him. So, what else you want him to say, right? So he said what he had to say, to get his teammates going, especially he represented his country. So he said what he had to say. But sometimes you gotta be smart enough to stay away from those big, when people say, "What you gonna do?" Hey, we're gonna play a good game and hopefully we can win, right? But it's easy said and done. But when you have all the cameras, all the especially not having Neymar, he is looked upon like he's the new leader now. So that's why it was easy for him to make that comment. And also, he knows the rivalry between Argentina and Brazil. So he made that comment to can get people going. But at the same time, it came back and bite him. But uh, I don't think it's over for Brazil. Obviously, they still got time and they still got the players. And all it takes is one tournament, right? All it takes is one tournament. They turn it around in the World Cup, and next thing you know, we're having a different conversation. Alain,
We've
got
seen that
anything?
in the past, though. We've seen that in the past where, team had bad qualifying session during the prior year, and then they go to the World Cup. And Brazil has done that. There are years where you didn't understand how the team was performing, and they ended up winning the World Cup, right? So, like you said with Argentina, so everything is possible. Like soccer is soccer. It's about who shows up. It's about having the right coach, the right vision, the right driver, and the right leader. So um, I'm a bit skeptical about Neymar being that guy, but it feels like we need somebody like a Neymar to come in, and I don't see that level of commitment from him. It's like every time we think he's gonna, and we talked about this last month, Coach. If you remember about him joining the team back, playing back with Santos, and hopefully he was gonna get back in shape and help
Yeah.
Brazil get back in the race, and then he gets injured for some reason, and then he's no longer part of the team. So it's like it's the same movie, the same script, just a different day being played over and over. And I feel like those guys got too rich too quick. And now I don't feel like there's any kind of real maturity and real drive. And they will regret it because our last World Cup was in 2002. We're talking about potentially 24 years since Brazil won a World Cup, right? Coming next year. And that's an entire generation of players that haven't showed up.
Right.
Okay. That's an entire generation. So they need to make an impact, and they need to make an impact right now. And I don't care where they go, who they talk to, something needs to happen. Or that could be the end of Brazilian football.
Yeah. So one thing I think is for sure, I think the myth of Brazil is no longer there. In the past, people used to be scared playing Brazil. I think, and I'm not talking about Argentina, Brazil, but I can see that, in the past, the myth was there. Like, any Brazilian team can show up and then they just win games just like that. But right now with the evolution of soccer, with people playing in big leagues, I don't see that fear anymore when people are playing Brazil, and that's why a lot of times if they don't show up, you know, if they don't show up, they don't play the best. It can go ugly really quick. But one of our number one fan, Smokey, he said that, come on, man, they will qualify. I think he was talking to you, Ale. I think he was talking to you, Ale. Smokey, keep those comments coming. We love to see
It's
it.
all right. I'm sorry, Coach. I have to jump in here. It's not about qualifying for the World Cup. Brazil has always qualified for every single World Cup. They never miss a World Cup. If the standard now is Brazil making it to the World Cup, then you know what? Then we have no standards. Brazil is expected to go to the World Cup and win it. That's the standard. That's the expectation. That's what the fans are asking. That's what the country is waiting for. And I think their time is now. So yeah, they make it. Okay, maybe they make it like in next month or whatever, in 2 months. Bravo. Bravo. Then what? Then you go to the World Cup and you lose in the first round and you get humiliated. So what was the purpose of all this? I think that's the same thing for Argentina. You go to the World Cup, we expect you to win it. Italy, Germany, that's the golden standard. So I'm not going to be opening champagne bottles because Brazil is going to make it to the World Cup. I want to see Brazil win something, and I want Neymar to wake up, grow up, and lead that team so we could have a chance of making an impact. That's what I'm asking.
No, hey, uh, you're right. You're right. So as a fan, you just want to see results, right? Well, you're
That's
absolutely
it.
right. The golden standard for Brazil is not to make the World Cup. That's for Haiti, right? So speaking of Haiti, so that's a good segue. So we have a player right now, Melchie Dumornay, playing really well in Europe right now. As a matter of fact, the team just qualified for last year. She played in the championship game for the Euro championship last year against Barcelona, and unfortunately they lost against Barcelona. Uh, but this year they're back again in the final four to play. Uh, but I think the question is, for some people that don't know who she is, I'm gonna play a little video here so they can see what we're talking about right now. So give me a minute so I can pull up the video. at her. Oof, that's a beautiful pass. All right, we can spend all night talking about her, but so the biggest thing is when you're looking at her game, uh, and especially when we were looking at the clips. I mean, you see her setting up assists, you see her winning uh, balls, you see her scoring, right? So, but the thing is, she's not getting she's not getting all the publicity that she could get. Obviously, we don't know. I don't know because she's Haitian, but when you look at it, she's doing. I mean, she's only like 19 or 20 years old. I don't remember how old is she now, but she's so young, and then she's playing at that high level. So obviously, we're not the people who's gonna decide who's gonna be the best player or not. But from what you guys are seeing or what you guys are hearing, do you think is the best player right now in Europe? So I'm gonna start with you, Al.
I think she is. I think she's the best player in Europe. Point blank, no doubt. I'm gonna say it like it is. I think she is not getting the recognition that she deserves because of where she's from. That's what it is. I think if she were to play for the United States, she probably would have been on ESPN every day, or she would have been on any type of night shows, getting all kind of endorsements.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate that it is what it is. She is a force to be reckoned with. She's smart, intelligent, gifted, powerful athlete. She's a leader. Melchie is what you call success. What else does she have to do to prove herself?
Yep.
She goes in every game and she's the leader on the. I don't see any other player right now in Europe at her level. I mean, they're all great players, but you can see how she differentiates herself from the competition. So I hope that her team goes all the way. I hope she wins it all, and I want her to start challenging pretty much the statu quo, so they could realize, hey, recognize me for who I am, not for where I'm from. And I think that's the problem.
Yep. What about you, Alex? Totally agree with you, Alex. Totally agree with you.
Um, I don't really watch women's football that much,
Come on, man.
but I know she's a good player, and as Helen said, she's not being given that that attention that she needs to be given, because from what I've seen, because I've seen her before, just she's a better player than most other players in Europe right now. And I mean, I think she's great. But yeah, from where she's from, I feel like she's not getting that that look. Like she's not getting I don't know how to say it. It's just like
Yeah,
she's
she's not
not
getting the
getting,
recognition she deserves.
you know.
Yeah. So guess what we got? Well, that's what we can do, right? So obviously, the internet is very powerful, and we have in a show that is also on the internet. Maybe we can start something today, like a campaign to vote for Melchie for the next Ballon d'Or. So we would like to invite all of our viewers, all of our fans, like the Smokey of the world, everybody, so we can start a campaign for Melchie. So I mean, Ale is right. I think if she was from a different country, if she was from France or she was from the United States, she would get all the recognition in the world. They will be talking about her every single day. So, for to be that young, to be that good, uh, and to play at that level, and you can tell that she's no stranger to the gym. I mean, she works out, she's fit, and then she does everything. She's a complete player. She does everything on the field, from winning balls, and then sometimes you see games like it's like the last minute of the game. She's still tracking back to make a last minute tackle. So I mean, she's what you call a coach, a player that all the coach, any coach would want to have in his team. So for me, we need to start the campaign today, so she can get all the recognition that she can get. And Alex, we want you to start watching more videos of her, to see how she's playing. And we don't want to hear that you don't watch a lot of women's soccer. But anyway, all joke aside, we if anybody don't know who she is, please look her up on YouTube and see what she's doing. And if you can catch one of her games, she playing for Lyon right now, and Lyon is one of the best team in Europe right now. And obviously they're gonna go back and be part of the final four for the Champions League for women. She's the truth, and we wish she can get some more recognition. And and that's what we want. We want somebody. You know what? On the good news is, when you're looking at Haiti, with everything's going on in Haiti right now. From a soccer standpoint, things are being very, very positive, right? So, obviously the women they went to the World Cup couple was it 2 years ago? I don't remember. 2 years ago, the U17 are going to a World Cup this fall. So when you look at it, and I think the men's senior team, they are doing really well as well too. So they be I mean, when you look at it, that's the positive that we want to grab on, for the country, because from a soccer standpoint, we're doing really well. So, we wanted to talk about the Haiti National League this tonight, but unfortunately, our own Dr. Joe JD is not going to be able to make it tonight, so we're going to skip that. So that's why we want to give all the love to Melchie tonight. Uh, so to make sure that she gets all the love she can get from us. All right. So also Smokey said she's arguably one of the best athletes out of Haiti. And Smokey, we totally agree with you 100%. We haven't seen something like that in a long time in Haiti. All right. So let's move on. Let's move on to what Alex like to talk about. La Liga, right? So over the weekend, Real Madrid played yesterday, and we saw that uh, Mbappe had a brace. And then so yesterday, when they won, they were like temporarily on top of the league, and Barcelona played today at home, so they were able to win 4-1. So now Barcelona now is on top. So is the race now is between Barcelona and Real Madrid. So let's start with you, Alex. Since you like talking about Lamine Yamal all the time.
Yeah, I think it is now. It's different, but I think it's between Real Madrid and Barcelona. Since I think Atletico Madrid are not really in this anymore. After they had a good run, and then after that loss in the Champions League, it started going downhill. Everything has gone downhill for them. So I think it's really a race between Real Madrid and Barcelona, and I think it's very even between them, because when you look at the games, you see around the same scores. I think Barcelona score a little bit more than Real Madrid in their games, but I think it's around the same, and they're very equal in that sense, but in senses of playing style, they're very different. Since Real Madrid are more dependent on Mbappe right now. While Barcelona, they're including all of their players and they're all getting mixed into it. Like Ferran Torres, Rafinha, Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, they're all scoring. But for Real Madrid, it's a little bit more dependent on Mbappe, and he's been doing a lot more, which is one reason why I think he might win the Ballon d'Or this year. But yeah.
Wow.
Turn off events, man. Alex.
Yeah. That's a huge statement. Where did that come from?
I don't know. It's a huge statement. I mean, wow. Ale, anything you want to add to that?
I think, well, first and foremost, we talked about Mbappe being that player to watch, right? Remember a few weeks ago we called it out. Everybody was talking about Liverpool and that who you were that how they had the chances to win it all, and then we said Mbappe was gradually making an impact. So I think Alex is on point. I think Alex is solid. I will give an edge to Barcelona though. I think I'm very impressed with how Barcelona plays, and I think they get a lot of players involved. I'm a little bit skeptical about Real. Although Real tends to be a very disciplined team, but you just never know. Like if Mbappe goes down tomorrow, right? What happens? Is it over? Do they have the muscles? Do they have the backups to go back in and replace an Mbappe?
They can win. They can win. They won without Mbappe last year.
Yeah, but the thing is, last year this year they don't have as many strikers. Also, Endrick, he's kind of in the middle between left wing and center forward. So they need a center forward. They need a second one, a super sub, because that's how Barca, they're different because they have Lewandowski and Ferran Torres.
They won without Mbappe. They can still do it.
But that was last year. So that was last year.
They pick a player to really depend on. I think last year it was more on Vini because he was.
Yeah.
I mean, Vini can start again. I mean, it's not like Vini is no longer in the team. So
yeah,
I mean,
but
I think right
he's
now
not doing as much. He's not doing as much work now that Mbappe's there. Because before they had Joselu, that was the only center forward, and then during the summer they got Endrick and Mbappe. So I think Vini, it was a different position that they were playing with. So it's a little bit different for Real. They had to switch it up.
What do you mean? What do you mean? It's a different
position. They have a different position from the position they were. They had two strikers up top. Like, they had.
Vini was not a striker. Vini was a winger.
No, they didn't use wingers last year. They had two center forwards.
They did.
And then they had a three midfield and then a 3 in the back.
No, they did. I mean, I think the problem with I think what we saw early with Real Madrid was the absence of Cruz. So Cruz was the one that was playing a lot, but Vini was playing on the outside. It was always they have no forwards last year, so everything was from the outside. So what I'm saying is they can all they got to do is switch up to that if they lose Mbappe. I think having Mbappe, it's adding another dimension to the team, but it's not like they're blowing people out with Mbappe. You know what I'm saying? So I still think that, that's what happened when you have a lot of superstars. Sometimes you got to be like, okay, you just go and do your thing, right? Because, at the beginning of the season, Mbappe wasn't playing well, so the team carried him. Now he starts feeling more confident, so he's playing a little bit better. So I still think that they're a good team with or without Mbappe. It just, I mean, it just, they just got to make it happen. So as far as Barcelona, I mean, I get what everybody's saying about Barcelona. They get everybody involved and stuff like that, but until you actually win something, the jury's still out for them. So I mean, I haven't seen him go through true adversity yet. So when they go through some true adversity, and then you see they come back from it, so that's when I will be like, okay, they're legit. I mean, Real Madrid, they don't have to play well to beat you. Barcelona has to play well to beat you. So that's the difference between Barcelona and Real.
So let me ask you a question, Coach. Who you think is the better team today, Real Madrid or Barcelona?
I think Barcelona has been playing better. So if we're looking at the way they play, so I would say Barcelona is playing better. I'm not saying Barcelona has a better team. I think Barcelona is playing better. So when you think about it, those guys got experience. When you're looking at Real Madrid teams, they have the experience, they have the depth, they know how to play the tournament, they know how to play the Champions League. So if it comes down to both Barcelona and Real Madrid, I think I think Real Madrid have uh the advantage because they've been there before. So 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 as far as who's playing better now, I think Barcelona is playing better. But I'm not saying that they are the better team or they are the better team. No, they are the best team in the Champions League. Or if you're looking at between Real Madrid and them, they are the better team. I don't think so.
I think you're being humble, but that's okay. We'll give you that.
I'm not being humble. I'm just being realistic. It's not being humble. I'm just being realistic, right? So if I look at the game today, so when you're looking at the game today, I mean, the opponent was not a great team, but you can tell that the first half they just went through the motion, right? So obviously, it's still a young team, and when you have a young team, that's what you see. It's a roller coaster, right? So someday, I mean, and then they come back in the second half. They came back as a better team. So and they played better in the second half, but the first half they were struggling. There were times that Lamine Yamal was too selfish. He didn't play the ball. He didn't play the right ball, and he came in the second half. He had a goal, and he became a different player. So that's what you see when you have a young team. It's still a young team. It's good to have a young team playing like that, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, Real Madrid they've been there before. So they have guys they know how to play. And last year, it's not like they were dominating. When they won, it's not like they dominated throughout the whole tournament. I mean, there were games that you thought Real Madrid was gonna lose, and then at last minute they score a goal. So that's what I think. They have the experience. They've been there before. Barcelona. I feel like because when you think about the La Liga, since we're talking about La Liga, it's still a tight race, and there's a lot of games left. So you have the entire month of April plus, in the month of April, you have Copa del Rey that they're gonna play this Wednesday. It's a home and away, and they're playing. Real Madrid had an easier opponent than Barcelona. Barcelona is playing Atletico Madrid, and when you're looking at it, that's the only tournament probably Atletico Madrid gonna try to play their best because they're gonna try to win that, right? So you got the month of April, and then you go back and start playing the quarterfinal for the Champions League, right? In April, and also you have May. It's a full month, right? Because the Champions League final is not till June. So they're playing like at least 4 weeks of soccer. Like they have 8 weeks left of soccer. So it's a lot of game. That's a lot of game left. So like I said, right now they're playing better, but I'm not saying they're the better team. Anything else you want to add?
No, man, at the end of the day, you're right. I mean, it's like it's the results, right? We just have to see how things play out. There's a full month of soccer. Everything could happen. People get injured. Let's see how they collectively work together and then and get what you need to get. So we'll see. Like, but I still feel like when I see Barcelona play, they look a little bit more magical than Real Madrid. That's me. I like seeing them play. I like Yamin Lamal. I mean, he's very confident. I mean, you have a kid so young, so talented that displays that level of confidence. That says a lot about the coaching, and
Yeah.
that says a lot about the maturity. That's something that unfortunately that I hope Rafinha could inherit from Barcelona and bring back to Brazil because he acts like a fool when he's in Brazil. instead of actually playing a good game and keeping his mouth shut. But that's a whole different conversation.
Well, he has a different team. It's different from having the Barca team that's already built, and they've been having a bunch of games throughout last season and this season, than playing with this brand new Brazil team. I mean, how are you gonna deal with a team that's already broken? You just
He's a professional, Alex. When you play at that level,
yeah,
I don't
but
care. I don't care how old you are. You are expected to behave professionally. When Brazil does the right thing, when they behave poorly, we applaud them. But when they act in a way that is uncalled for and that's unprofessional, we have to call them out on it. And then what he did was totally unprofessional, lack of maturity. He has zero success on the team, zero contribution. The guy just talks a lot of BS, and then he just embarrassed himself in Argentina. That is totally unacceptable. So I think Rafinha needs to just take a humble shower, and then hopefully he'll win the European Championship one day. That's it. Let's move on now, guys. Appreciate it.
one day.
Boy, it's interesting. But to your point, Barcelona is fun to watch. I mean, you got Pedri. I mean, he's arguably the best midfielder right now we have in the game. I mean, that kid is so great. You have obviously you have Lamine Yamal that is very flashy and he's playing really well. And Rafinha is playing really well for Barcelona. So yes, they are fun to watch. They are fun to watch. And as a fan, I enjoy watching them. But if I have to pick the two based on history and based off, you know, experience, I would say that Real Madrid got the edge for now. But we'll see. Only time will tell. All right. So let's go back to the memory lane. I'm gonna pull up a player right now and see what you guys remember. Give me a minute. I think Alec know that guy really well. I think I'm ready. Remember that guy, Roberto Baggio?
Yeah.
Mm-mm. But that pass. All right. I'm gonna start with Ali. What's your memory of Roberto Baggio?
1994 World Cup final, Brazil against Italy. And this guy forgets who he's playing against and then throws the ball all the way to the crowd in that penalty kick, and Brazil wins the World Cup. It's just like the biggest memory of him. I mean, honestly, he maybe if he doesn't miss, we don't win the World Cup that year. But he was the leader of the team. He was the striker. I mean, I remember Roberto Baggio in the early '90s playing for Juventus, right? So that's where I knew him from the Calcio. He was one of the most famous strikers during that era. Very powerful striker, very talented, and then he played for Italy. So it was, but unfortunately, the World Cup, that's the memory. That's all I see. That what's keep, and I think he was unfortunately defined by this moment.
Yep.
Um, it really doesn't matter what he did for 4 years prior or throughout his career. I think that moment in history remain the culmination of his career because that's all I can, that's all I can think of when I see
Everybody
Badger
remember.
now.
Yeah, yeah. So Smokey just said that fell PK. That's his memory of Baggio. Exactly what you just said. So, Alex, did you know that player?
Yeah, I knew him. He reminds me like when I see him play, he reminds me of a taller version of a Maradona. He's very like the ball is close to him. He has it and then he just does anything with it and then he scores it. It's just that's how I see him. But yeah.
Yeah, Baggio was a smooth player, man. He was a smooth
Yeah.
operator. Everything he was doing, he has so much skills, and then he has so much flair the way he plays. So it's so funny that everybody remembers him by this failed PK, but he's the one that carried Italy to the World Cup final. I mean, he took. I mean, it's so funny that at the beginning of the World Cup, he was not playing well, and he was not playing well. And when they go to the second round, he scored every goal for Italy all the way to the World Cup final. And then he didn't score in the World Cup final, obviously, but he scored every goal for Italy. So, like, he became another player in the second round and just carried Italy to the World Cup final. And Italy at the time had some great players. He also played a good. I think his coming out party was in 1990 World Cup. When against when the World Cup was held in
In
Italy. So
Italy. Mhm.
that was his coming out party. And he scored a beautiful goal as well too in that World Cup because I remember vividly about that goal. He got the ball on the left flank and then stuck weaving through defenders all the way and then scored that goal. So Baggio was unreal. He was a magnificent player. And just like watching those clips, brought me back. And I felt like, man, he was just like yesterday. I was watching him play. And he was one of those players that he was, you know, and he was not the type of player that he gets in your face. He was a very polite player when he was playing. I mean, obviously he was a little feisty player, but he was not one of those that get in your face and get upset. He just came and play soccer. He was very good. And it's so funny. There was a time Ronaldo, Baggio was in the same team. They were playing for AC Milan. Oh, those guys were playing in the same team. So it's crazy just to think that, and I think it's crazy to see those guys were playing together on the same team. But Baggio he was an icon, and it's unfortunate. Everybody remember him, especially people that don't know soccer. That's all they know about, or is the fact that he missed the PK against Brazil. They even had a commercial. I mean, the thing was so depressing. They even had a commercial in Italy when they showed that he scored the PK. You know, they had the commercial alter, so because that really killed his career. So I think that's one of the reasons he didn't go back and play in 1998 because he never recovered from that 1994 World Cup. Even though he was still playing at a high level, but he never recovered from that defeat in the US. So
Is
it
it
was fun. I'm glad that JD brought it to go, to pick him as the person to be in the memory lane. And like I said, just for me looking at videos and going to YouTube and look at and search for his videos, and I think that was really great, and it was some memories, and I hope you guys were watching it enjoyed that as well too. Uh, but
but
now
correct me
let's
if
focus.
coach, one
Huh?
more thing on Badger. Correct me if I'm wrong. In 1990, they got eliminated in the semifinals by Argentina, right?
Yep.
And then they lost in the finals in 1994, same way, penalty kick by Brazil.
Yep. Yep. You're absolutely right. Yep. They actually the game against Argentina was played in Naples, Napoli, right? So
Yeah,
and
that's Diego
so
was there. Yeah,
yeah,
Diego
Diego
was
was
there.
there,
Yeah,
and it's so
yeah.
funny. Like Diego was the son of Napoli, right? And
Hmm.
uh, and he was upset that they boo him when they were singing the national anthem for Argentina. So he was really upset, and I think that's I watched a documentary of Diego when he was showing, and I think that's when he was just like, you know what, I need to get out of Italy. I was like, Diego, what did you expect, man? the World Cup is in the World Cup is in Italy, and then they play. I mean, and the team is playing. Obviously, the Italian first.
Yeah.
So, but there was a part. But at the end of the game, there was a side of the stadium. They have a lot of people from Napoli, right? And they were rooting. They were cheering for Diego after the game. They still love him. They still love him. They were cheering for him after the game after they beat Italy. So anyway, but now that we went back in the past, so let's talk about the future. So we got somebody here, our own Alex. So he was nice enough to share some videos. So apparently, Alex, before I start playing some of the videos, so what happened over the weekend?
On Friday I had a game, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It was an interesting game. Very hard for me. Especially that defense was really hard for me. Especially they kicked my calf like 5 times, and yeah, that's all I had.
So
Okay.
Alex, did you score on
Okay.
did you score
Yes, I did.
that video I just played? Did you score on it?
No,
Yeah, it looked like
no, it
you scored.
wasn't. No, that one I didn't score. It was a different one where I was.
No, nobody's there.
And it was a different one
Hey,
where I had the
hey,
ball,
hey,
and then
hey,
I
it
did
was
a
fun.
yeah.
So yeah, here we go. We have so next time, there was some great video. Next time, let's make sure that we get a landscape
Yeah,
so we can see the whole thing. Uh,
yeah,
but it was good, man. I'm glad that you shared this video with us. So I'm gonna talk about the first one. The first one, I think that it was. I'm gonna play it again so people can see. Uh, all right, the first one, I like the way you use your body to shield them. So also, I can see that you're lefty, right?
yeah,
So next time, and then you try to pull it back.
yeah,
Try to pull it back, and I think by you pushing them off and by you pulling it back, it was easy for you to get the ball around them. So next time when you put your body in front of them, just use your left leg to go around him, just pass it around him, like put him behind you. So in that case, he had no chance to touch you. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah. But that was good, man. I like the fact that you're very physical. And I think the second video, you came all the way in the back. to clear the ball, and then you went up, and then end up, getting a shot off. So that was really well. That was really good from you. So hey, I love what I'm seeing, man. Yeah, keep it up. You gotta use your right a little bit too, man. You can't
Yeah, I do. I
have to
do. I
use your
scored
left
my
all
I
the time
scored my other goal. I scored the goal with my right foot.
with your right foot. Yeah,
Yeah.
you sent me a lot of videos, so I was like, man, I try to pick.
There was one where I had like a step over and then I crossed the other kid and then I turned around and shot.
Yeah.
I
So
remember that
so
one.
next time, just do a little montage for us. So
Yeah.
all your best moves, so
Yeah.
we can just play it. We can just play it. But this is good, man. You just made my day when you send those videos, and it's good to see that. It's good to see, playing at the young level. You're not just talking about the game, but you actually play the game. So for people watching us, when you see Alex talking, he knows what he's talking about, right? Because he's actually putting it into work on the field. So this is great, man. So what's next? What you gonna do next? Are you done? It's just like a 1 day tournament, or it was just
No,
like a league?
I have games on Tuesdays and Fridays normally.
So what you do? You play in the league? It's a
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So what's your team record?
I think pretty much every time I don't play, we lose. So it's kind of hard for me because I score it's difficult for me because if I don't play, I know we lose because every time I don't play, we lose. So it's I can only remember the times that I've played. So every time I play, that means it's a win, and then every time I don't play, that means it's a loss. So I think it's a 4-3, 4-3. Like we've won 4 times, and then we've lost 3 times. I think that's what it is.
Why you not playing all the games, man? What's going on?
No, because I had a trip to for a funeral, so I couldn't play for 2 games. But yeah.
So before you leave, don't you tell the team you give them like a pep talk and say, hey, we'll be out for a little bit, so you guys need to chill,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, I tell them that.
Oh, this good, man. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, keep playing, man. Keep playing. On top of the fact that it's good for your health too. You know how you stay active, and then you keep playing the game, and this is good. So, yeah, I love it. So hopefully, we got more coaches looking at you. So you probably you're rocking the Inter Miami jersey. You never know. You probably get invited to the Inter Miami Academy. But Ali, why you shaking your head, man?
Oh my God, it's been all right. It's like, all right, I get it. It's Argentina's time. It's you
No,
guys
no, no,
are
no,
in,
no, no, no. It's
are in
not
the
Argentina.
top.
Hey,
Okay.
I beat you every time we play in a 1v1 in every category. So I don't want to hear it from you.
Okay.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I'll be quiet. I'll wait for the World Cup. We'll talk about the after
Yeah,
the World Cup. Yeah.
sure,
that's
sure.
good. So all right. So one couple of things that I wanna add. So we started a Football Unfiltered page on Facebook, and also we have it the same page on Instagram. So going forward, we're gonna use that page for a show. So in that case, it's a little bit easier. So I'm not using the personal page anymore. But going forward, that's what we're gonna do. So all the fans that we have here, please follow. Look for Football Unfiltered on Facebook and start following it. And also, we also on the Instagram. So under Football Unfiltered. So look for Football Unfiltered on Instagram. That's where we're gonna have some of the clips of the show. That's where we're gonna have the show going forward. So we just wanted to have the last show and the platform, but going forward, this is the page we're gonna be using going forward. Uh, so I'm not gonna talk about the major league games this week. Like I said, we have all the stuff that we want to talk about, but I really appreciate you guys, watching us tonight. And also, I want to thank our guests. You guys are not guests anymore. You guys are like panelists now. I'm not calling you guests anymore. You guys are panelists now. So we have our own Alain Livier. Thank you for coming, for being there tonight. And then we have a future star, Alex. Alex promised. He did keep up on his promises. He said he was gonna share his video from his for him playing soccer. So this is great. So keep sharing those videos, man, so we can keep playing those videos on the show. All right. So until then, I'll see you guys next week. So you guys have a good night.
Uh,
They said dads can't stay fit. We disagreed. Fit Dad Community began with a simple idea: empowering fathers to lead, inspire, and thrive. Transform your routine with our exclusive collection, crafted for your active lifestyle. Ready to join our tribe and redefine fatherhood? Shop now and save, because being strong never goes out of style.